So, Crystal Palace come to London Stadium this coming Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. And, really got to look forward to this game, haven't we, really? We've just got to hope we don't get spanked. Let's put it that way. Let's just hope we don't get spanked. We can come away with a draw or a win. I mean, ideally, we want to go with a win. We want Potter to go out there with a positive attitude, set his team up, go out there and be positive and take the game to Crystal Palace. But, look, Crystal Palace, credit where credit is due. They're no mugs. They had a decent season, very good season, excellent season last season, of course. They start reasonably well because they've lost a couple of really good players. They managed to hold on to Gay, which is a credit to them, really, after Liverpool came in for the poach. But they've held on to Gahey. They've started off reasonably well. 4 games, 3 draws, 1 win, and they've got 6 points. So they're doing all right. Whereas West Ham, well, we're sitting in 18th position right now on 3 points, and 1 win, 3 losses, and a goal difference that would will make your grandmother blush, let's put it that way. We've let in 11 goals. We've scored 4, so it's a -7, whereas Crystal Palace are on a +3 goal difference. So, I wouldn't say they're tearing up the place, but at the same time, they're holding their own and they're finding their feet, whereas we just don't even know where our feet are. Let's put it that way. I mean, I fear for us, of course I do. And I think if you're a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, you're going to fear for that because you're bottom of the table, 4 games, 0 points at all, and probably Burnley in that mixer too. But West Ham are definitely in that mix. I think Aston Villa, whilst they're second from bottom right now, I think it's only a matter of time before they'll find their feet. I can't see them staying there for much longer. But West Ham, if we don't improve, obviously things are going to happen. Now, looking forward to the game on Saturday. On this video, I'm only talking about the football. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just going to talk about the football. Because I think we've got to, at least for the football, we've got to be hopeful. At least we've got to be positive. From the fan base, we've got to be positive. I'm always trying to be positive when it comes to the, looking ahead to the games and looking where we can win. My concern is that my positivity, and perhaps yours as well, right, doesn't rub off on the manager, doesn't rub off on the players. So one of the first things that we've got to tackle, or the manager's got to deal with, and the players have got to deal with, is keeping their motivation throughout the whole game. Don't let the heads slump down as soon as we concede a goal. We've got to be much, much better in defence. At defending, just basics of defending through, from corners and from any dead ball situation. The goalkeeper has got to be a lot stronger. For me, Hermansen's got to be dropped. He's got to be dropped. And if he isn't dropped, then obviously that's a pure indictment of where Potter is. Now, I just wonder what the whole Areola thing is. Is it that he just didn't favour him after last season? Or has something else happened that he thinks, right, I just don't want you? Well, if that was the case, then I would have thought they would have tried to get rid of him during the summer. So I'm not so sure whether it's a bust-up as such, that he just doesn't want to play him, or maybe he just doesn't like him. But then you've got to just weigh up the two. And you got to think, which is the worst? Now, yeah, I think Areola played in against Wolves, didn't he? But at the same time, you got to also look at the defensive frailties. And the way we're defending corners, any team coming to us, they're going to target that area. Tottenham did. It's almost like it's basics. It's almost like you're really bad at poker. Your tells are so obvious that anybody, a 5-year-old could beat you at poker. And that's where we're at, really. Our tells are so bad, are so easy to figure out, that all they need to do is target it. They need to target that. And so that should be a wake-up call for Potter. That should be a wake-up call for all of our players as well, and the coaches, and how they prepare for this game, to say, look, we've had easy tells. We're really bad at defending corners, any dead ball situation. We're being pulled out of place, pulled out of position. Now, so for me, we've got to be overall a lot better, a lot more organised, and the goalkeeper's got to change, of course. But you've got to go man-to-man marking. You've got to do something where you're not just letting other players, opposition players, have the freedom of the 6-yard box or the 18-yard box. It's just, you've got to keep them at bay. I just wonder if what Potter's going to do in terms of first team selection, or starting 11 selection, I should say, formation, and where he's going to put these players. And, we've got to wait to see if whether Füllkrug's make a full recovery, whether Callum Wilson, why can't he start with Callum Wilson straight away? Is there an issue here in terms of finances? And you think, well, he's been told don't start Callum Wilson unless you absolutely have to, and don't start him because we're going to save ourselves, or potentially save ourselves, a few quid if we're doing quite well. Only bring him on as a sub. The fact is, bringing him on every game, so you're still playing that 95 grand a week or whatever it is. So you might as well just start him, and we haven't got anybody else. Now, I was watching Hammers Chat forum the other day, and today. Let's talk about the under-21s, how they've done fantastically well. Callum Marshall, I should say, can't get my words out. He scores a couple during the week. Why not have him start? If Callum Wilson is, not fit to start, if Füllkrug's not fit to start, then start one of the kids. And why not? He's banging them in. He's got great confidence. Why not? So you kind of wonder where Potter's head is at. And if he starts with a defensive makeup, then we're pretty much doomed. Because you need to have more than that. You need to be putting pressure on the opposition in the middle of the park. So for me, I've said it for the last few weeks. Whatever configuration of a 5 in the midfield that you think you can explain away, like a 3 and a 2 or a 2-1-2 or whatever configuration you want. For me, it's just a 5 in the midfield. You pack out the midfield. And you have able runners. That's as simple as that. And get the ball up and just press high as well. I'm not saying that the whole team moves forward, but you've got to stop the opposition playing and getting to us in the first place. And if they do break our lines and they do come through, then you've got to be resolute in defence. So again, this is all sort of basic stuff, but it comes down to attitudes, comes down to mentality, not only of the players but also of the manager as well. And I just fear that if Crystal Palace come to us and they are on song, then the least they'll come away with is a draw. The least. The best, the absolute best they'll come away with is like a 5 or 6-0 win. But that can be countered for me. That can definitely be countered with a West Ham team that is set up to take the game to Crystal Palace. Remember, they've lost a couple of really good players, so they're still finding their feet as well. So I think we could get a decent result on Saturday, but it's down to Potter. And I just don't know if Potter's that guy. I've said it in previous videos. I just don't know if he's that manager that you can put your faith in, that is going to want to turn it around and play on the front foot. The counter argument to this is, right, if we play, more attacking football, more expansive football, then we could get punished 5 or 6-0. Well, getting punished 5 or 6-0 for me right now and still going for it is much better than getting beat 3 or 4-0 in a defensive makeup. Yes, goal difference aside, we're still not winning games. We're still not getting any points. So I don't mind a strategy if he wants to keep it tighter until half-time and then expand it out in the second half. I get it. And in fact, that the way we're playing might not be a bad way to go. Set up sort of defensively counter-attacking football for the first half. See how we go. And then just, if you're going to bring on Callum Wilson, don't bring him on in the 60th minute. Bring him on at half-time. Don't leave James Ward-Prowse on there until 90-odd minutes. Don't even start him for me. If we're going to look at our defensive players and then say, well, Kyle Walker-Peters, I'd leave him in there. I thought he had a decent game. And Juve, I thought he had a decent game. Mavropanos, I thought was relatively okay, solid. Kilman, I thought was okay, but I just didn't think he was great. So, if you're gonna swap out one of those two or leave it as the same, I'll be fine with that. But I would still be a bit nervous. But their communication with each other and with the goalkeeper, whomever that is, has got to rapidly improve. And they've got to be loud. They've got to be shouting at each other, organising each other. I just don't think we've got that big voice in the squad, in the team, in the squad, from the bench and the manager. We just don't have that kind of gorilla in there that's basically going to, grab everybody and just pull them along. But, if you're going to start with that, fine. But, you've got to improve so much overnight, pretty much. But I would take Kilman out. If you're going to make a change, take Kilman out, put Igor in there. Try him out. And then in terms of the middle of the park, well, James Ward-Prowse, for me, shouldn't start. What's the point in starting him? He's just totally underperformed. All last season, he went to Nottingham Forest. He couldn't get a game there, so we bring him back. And he hasn't really produced. And he's a dead ball specialist, and I haven't seen him do anything, really. Okay, maybe once or twice, but that's about it. And most of the time, it's just the delivery is really, really poor. So you kind of wonder, well, what's the point? So don't start with him. Fernandez and Magassa in there. Paqueta just as a number 10, or just, sitting a little bit deeper if he needs to sit a little bit deeper, number 10. Somerville on the left, Bowen on the right, and then Marshall up front. Marshall up front if Wilson and the full crew are definitely not fit. But you've got to have Marshall in there on the bench and starting and doing something. If you're not going to have, Fernandez there starting, then put Potts there. Actually, Potts is probably a better option. Yeah, just put Potts in there. Potts and Magassa there. And then you could either swap out Fernandez and Somerville if you needed to. And just switch it around that way. And just fine-tune it and see how it goes. It's a much better option to do that. And that'll be a lot more offensive. But you're not sacrificing all your defensive qualities for all-out attack. Because, one, we haven't got the quality of players and the depth of squad to do that. But also, it would just be a fool's errand. You need to be able to defend your back line as well. And that you do that from midfield. And that's by pressing. The work rate of all the players has got to go through the roof. And this is not just for the first 20 minutes or half an hour or 60 minutes. It's actually for 95 minutes, 100 minutes. It is no surprise that you go back through history, that the teams who do well, have successful seasons, whether they win anything or not, or they get high on the table, they are the kind of teams that never give up, and they never give up, and they keep on battling right to the final whistle. They never give up. Regardless of the scoreline, they never give up. And they keep on going for it. And this is on a consistent basis. Yes, every team has its bad day, right? But consistently, they'll keep on going for it. They keep on battling. And guess what? You'd be surprised the number of teams that actually score in injury time, in added time, right? They always tend to score. Man United were famous for it under Fergie. Liverpool just did it, last weekend against Burnley, right? Case in point, it happens all the time. So there's always something to play for. Even if you're 4 or 5-0 down, there's always something to play for. You play for pride. You play for the fans. You play for yourselves. You play for something. And it's almost like it's like a mental game with these players to say, they've got to snap out of it. And the only one that can help them through this is the manager. This comes from the top. So when a team does well, you praise the manager. Because, like Pep Guardiola, right? You praise him, fantastic. Well, look at what he's done with Man City. Brilliant, amazing, right? But when they don't do well, or any team doesn't do well, the manager takes the brunt of it, takes it all. Because regardless of what the old adage is that, as soon as those players cross the white line, you can't really change anything. Actually, you can. You can change a lot by just standing on the touchline and barking instructions and making sure that they're focused 100% of the time. And also, you can make timely substitutions, and then in subsequent games, you can either keep players in or drop players that have totally underperformed. Well, this manager, so far, Graham Potter, has not done that. He's persisted with players that keep on underperforming, or not even underperform, don't perform at all. So this is where it's got to change. If we've got any chance against Crystal Palace at the weekend, if we're going to smash them 5-0, if we're going to smash them 5-0, right, we've got to take the game to them. Wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing to see if we went to the game, or wherever you watch the game from, or wherever you listen to the game from, right, that there's an excitement about it. There's, if you listen to commentary or watching commentary, there's an excitement there from the commentators. The fans are reacting to it. And we're buzzing and we're going for it, and one goal goes in, 2 goals go in, and we're bossing them in midfield, and we're hounding their defence, and we're scaring the keeper with every other shot that we have. Wouldn't it be amazing to have that kind of game? It'd be brilliant. It'd be fantastic. We haven't got the greatest of records, home and away over the last few years, I don't believe, with Crystal Palace. We've had a few results here and there, of course we have, but overall it's not a team that I wouldn't say they're a bogey team, but I wouldn't say they're they're one of our teams that we do exceptionally well against either. But there's always an opportunity. For me, there's always an opportunity to do well, to get on the score sheet. It doesn't solve anything in terms of the club. It doesn't do anything. But what it does do is show the fans that this set of players can do it. They can turn it on. The manager can do it. He can turn it on. Now then, they just have to make it on a consistent basis. Look, ideally, we want there to be 180-degree turnaround on the way they're performing, the way the manager's performing, and he just goes on a massive winning streak, right? We'd all want that because, look, we're winning. And we all want them to play great football. So if he does that, listen, then, everything's, all bets are off, as it were. Everything is forgiven. Don't worry about it. You're proving that you're delivering those performances and you're getting results. Great, fantastic. I'm not going to say to you, just because, this week I've been saying that you shouldn't be in the job, then all of a sudden you turn it around overnight, and I'm going to still stick with that opinion. That opinion is based on your performances thus far. If you turn it around, I'm going to be fully with you again, aren't I? That's the way it is. You have to prove to us that you can do this job. And if you can't, then it goes back to the same thing we've been saying for the last few weeks, in fact, all last season, when you took charge. You got to go. You're not right for the club. And the players have got to hold their head in shame as well. But I just wonder if we're going to have a performance on Saturday with any grit, with any determination that lasts the whole 90 minutes, 100 minutes, and whether a leader is going to emerge from our team. Somebody who was vocal, somebody who was screaming and shouting at the other players, somebody who was barking orders, somebody who was organising on the pitch. The captain is the manager's general. That's what they should be. They're the one who's taken the manager's directions, and then here's the one who can think on his feet, as it were, and turn it all around. And I just wonder whether we've got that. Now, a good leader can lead by example as well, but I'm not sure that the rest of the players have actually reacted to those kinds of leaders that we've had. We need big voices in there right now, and to get them focused and keep them focused. Am I deluded enough to think we're going to smash them 5-0? Of course not. I'm hopeful. Of course I am. Always hopeful. Deludedly hopeful, I suppose, if that's even a word. But if we're not on it, if we don't take the game to them, if we don't pressure them in any way, this could be another tough day. And you kind of fear for the reaction again of the fans and everything like that. If the fans go and their heads drop, then it could become a cricket score quite easy. Luckily, Crystal Palace are just finding their feet in this season. We're not dealing with a Man City or a Liverpool or an Arsenal or something like that, who could easily put a lot of goals past us, right? Ruthlessly put a lot of goals past us. So we've got to hope that they really have a bad day and we have a good day. I mean, that's looking ahead to the game. Let us know your thoughts. But Crystal Palace are no mugs. And we have been really piss poor so far, haven't we? We've got to turn it around. Let's be hopeful. Let's be positive. For the game, this is. For the game. Let's be positive. Let's try and send out those positive vibes. Let's do whatever we can, whatever it is, wear those lucky rabbit's feet, whatever, pray to your gods, pray to your wherever, your little mojo sticks, I don't know, whatever you're going to pray to. But, we need something. We need all the help we can get. Let's put it that way. We need all the help we can get. But, I definitely would be, I would be gutted if the lineup comes out and he just does the same old thing. In fact, I think I would be close to breaking point at that point. Because then he's just completely, I've already said he's blind already to a lot of things. But he's just totally lost it. And the owners should be reacting. If he comes out and piss ball display and defensive setup and anywhere, and he hasn't changed the players that he needs to change, and the substitution really gone, he needs to go. They need to sack him straight after the game, in my humble opinion. But I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping he does the old switcheroo, goes on the front foot, selects the right players, makes timely substitutions, and we come away with a 5-0 smashing. Fantastic. Love it. And I'll come back afterwards and say what a great result. And thank you, Graham Potter, for listening to me all this time. Because, hey, listen, if you want any more personal coaching, just come to me and I'll only charge you $7,000 an hour. Don't worry. If you don't want to do it, keep on watching the videos. And listen, all I can say is up the hammers. And I'll catch you again. Bye now.